I'm going to show you how to raise a credit on Vela OS. So here we have an order that I've raised with our fruit and veg supplier. It's already been raised, submitted, for 5 apples, a kilo of mooli and a kilo of red peppers. Now for the purposes of this video, I'm going to work on the assumption that they sent us and invoiced us for 5 apples, but one of them was bad. So I want to raise a credit for 1 bad apple. I also want to raise a credit for a kilo of mooli because I ordered a kilo, but they've actually sent and charged 2 kilos. Now obviously there's situations when perhaps you might order a kilo and you receive 1.1 kilos or 1,100 grams. That seems fair enough, but doubling the amount of produce ordered feels like overstepping the mark. So I'm going to raise a credit for 1 kilo of mooli. And then the final sort of fictional error that I've created is being overcharged by £1 per kilo for red peppers. So in this context, I'm going to need a credit for £3.16. So let's go ahead and raise the credit. So based on 5 apples, 2 kilos of mooli and red pepper at £6.26 a kilo for 1 kilo, they are invoicing me for £11.39. Now that is clearly wrong, but that's what the invoice that they've sent me has said. In fact, actually, I've jumped a step. So they've invoiced me for 5, but I'm only going to accept 4. They've invoiced me for 2, but I'm only going to accept 1. They've invoiced me for 1, I'm going to accept 1, but the issue lies in the pounds per kilo. So I'm going to now save that, which is going to then rework this price here. So that's cool. £11.39, delivered today, invoice number 1234. Now, this is not a perfect delivery, so I'm going to write down that there is a problem with the delivery. What's the problem? There was poor quality in the apple, it's an incorrect price in the red peppers, and other was incorrect quantity. So for the sort of purposes of everyone reading this information to be on the same page, I'm just going to copy this, which basically highlights what the issues and errors are. So apples, invoice 5 for 5 but 1 bad, ordered 1,000 grams of mooli, but delivered and charged for 2 kilos. A credit request for 1 kilo is required, and then the final point is charged at £6.26, not £5.26. So that is all there, and I'm going to now mark as delivered. Now you'll see here that it's going to press me to either raise a credit or ignore the credit. Now the reason that you might ignore a credit would be that whoever deals with pricing hasn't updated the prices. So in this situation, you would basically ask whoever's responsible for that and say, should I raise a credit or ignore it? This is clearly an issue because we've got the bad apple, we've got too much stock being invoiced, and they have overcharged on the agreed price. So I'm going to move forward and I'm going to raise a credit. So we're almost at the end now. We've updated the amounts of invoiced and amounts to accept, but the last issue is the invoiced unit price. So the agreed price was £5.26, but the invoice price is £6. Okay? And then I'm going to save that. Boom. We're expecting a credit note for £3.16. Now this credit note has not yet been created in the PDF. So all we've got is the original PDF order here. Now I'm going to raise the credit note. Great. And as if by magic, we now have a itemized credit note, which gives all the information to both the supplier and your accounts team explaining what's happened from the note, itemizing the issues within that order, and a figure for the credit that is required. So that's all that your suppliers and your accounts team will need. And all we're going to do now is email the credit note. It's once again got all the information that you've put at the start of this process, and it highlights that we're also sending the supplier that credit note. Press send, job done. And that is how you raise credits on Vela OS.